Hi there and welcome to video 2, lesson 2, day 2 if you will, in this 5 days to alkaline series. I hope you've loved lesson 1 and I hope you've had an opportunity to start putting into practice some of those simple tactics and tips I've given you to start getting that abundance of green foods. Those 5 to 7 serves of greens a day are going to make such a difference to your life. And the lessons I'm going to teach you in this video, well, they could be just as important. I know I said yesterday's was the most important lesson, but this one rivals it because today is all about hydration. It's about hydrating your body so that your cells are nourished and you're feeling that all day energy that I know that proper hydration brings. Now, this topic of hydration, it could be a 5-part video series all by itself. In fact, I have got a 3-part video series that I'm working on right now that I'm sure you're going to see in the next couple of months, but this is a big topic. So in today's video, I'm more going to focus on specifically the tactics and strategies that you can use today, you can start implementing right away to start getting the proper amount of hydration into your life. So we're going to talk about quality to a degree, and there's a guide below this video that's going to go through all of that in heaps of depth. But in today's video, I really want to talk to you about quantity and getting that hydration habit going, because to be honest, it's one of the most challenging things for people. And I think that that's because so many people look at hydration and they go, yeah, okay, right, I need to have 8 glasses of water a day, that's fine, I'll do that. And then they just don't do it. And they hear people saying you need to be hydrated, you need to get more, and they know in their heads, oh yeah, I know that, but they just don't do it. And in fact, to be honest with you, I have so many people that email me every day saying, Ross, I seem to be doing everything right, but I'm not getting the results that I want. And I always ask them the same questions, one of which is, how much water are you drinking? What type of water? And you know, how long have you been doing that? And it's so often that people come back and go, oh yeah, well, you know, actually now that if I'm being honest with myself, I probably don't drink enough water. And in a weird way, I love it when people say to me, oh, I haven't been drinking enough water, because I know that with that one simple change, they're going to be able to make huge strides forward with their energy and their vitality and their mental clarity as well. I talk a lot about all day energy, consistent energy throughout the day, and hydration is one of those things that makes it so simple and so easy to get that hydration that you're looking for. So like I said, we're going to focus more on quantity and the habit in this video rather than water quality and the right type of water. And the first thing to know when we're talking about quantity really is that how much is enough? How much should I be drinking? How much should the next person be drinking? What's the right amount for each person? Well, there is an average that I always give, and that's somewhere between 3 to 4, maybe 4.5 litres. That's a good rule of thumb to work by. I know that sounds daunting to you potentially at the moment if you're not really in the hydration habit, but don't worry about it. We'll get on some steps in a minute. There is a slightly more scientific rule to look for, and it's basically 1 litre of water per 40 pounds of body weight. So in other terms, that's per 18 kilos, or about 2 to 2.5, maybe it's probably more like 2.5 to 3 stone. So 1 litre of water per 40 pounds of body weight. So for me, being about 12 stone man, that would be about 4 to 4.3 litres a day for me. You can use that as a guide as well. Like I said, for most people, if you go for the between sort of 3 to 4.5 litres a day, you're going to be fitting within that 80-20 rule. And that is going to be the sort of quantities that you want to be aiming for. And I know that sounds like a lot for some people. And to be honest, it sounded like a lot for me when I first started out. But when you actually start to break it down, it isn't that much when it's throughout the day. And I'm going to get onto some hydration habits that I want you to start forming in each day in just a moment. And I think one of the main challenges that people have, actually there's probably 2 challenges that people tend to have when they start the hydration habit is, one is that they just simply forget to drink enough. It's never usually the problem that people are going, I physically can't drink that much. If it's spaced out through the day, it's like never that I can't drink that much. It's usually that I forget. And I had this challenge too, you start the day and you go, yeah, I'm going to drink loads of water today, I'm going to drink loads of water. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, you're going to bed at night, or it's like 9, 10 o'clock at night. It's like, I forgot to drink water all day. And to be honest, it's no good at that stage just going to the sink and trying to chug as much water as you want. Water is much like healthy foods and supplements and stuff. The more you can space them out equally throughout the day, the better they're going to be. So the first thing is people generally just forget to drink enough. The other thing is when you first start hydrating properly, if you're coming from a place of being dehydrated, when you first start to hydrate properly, you'll notice that you're going to the bathroom more often than you used to. And this is fine. This is a problem that passes really, really quickly. So the analogy that we tend to use with this type of subject is if you think of your body like a dried up sponge, you're dehydrated, it's like a dried up sponge, and you put that sponge under a tap, under a running tap, the first thing you'll notice is the water just splashes off the tap. Nothing's getting absorbed, it's just splashing, it's just running straight off. But over time, the more water that you run onto the sponge, that you put into your body, the more the sponge will be able to absorb that water and use that water. And that's the case for you. The more you're hydrating yourself, the more your body will become able to absorb and use that water, and the better you'll feel. But I promise you this, if you are in a situation of being dehydrated, chronically dehydrated at the moment, meaning that really you don't drink much water, most of the liquids that you get are coffees and teas and sodas, those types of things, then when you start to drink proper amounts of water, you are going to notice a difference, a big difference really quickly. Within a day or two, you're going to be able to notice the difference in your energy, feel the difference in your body, see the difference on your skin. It just makes such a big impact. Now, when it comes to actually remembering to drink enough, there's a few little habits that I want you to start to form. And the best way to form habits, in my experience, is to tie new habits to existing habits. And here's what I mean. Everybody wakes up in the morning, okay? So make it your habit that when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is you run to your sink. I'm pointing at my kitchen here, is you run to your sink and you go and you get a big glass of water. I advise, my personal preference is to have a litre of clean, pure, filtered water. It can be lemon water and all that stuff we'll get onto in a minute, but a litre of water as quickly as you can in the morning. And I don't mean just down it as quick as you can, but try to get that first litre of water in sort of within the first half an hour or hour of waking. Everybody cleans their teeth, right? So every time you clean your teeth, remember you have a glass of water. Even if it's just, 330 mils, a normal glass, or 500 ml glass of water, have a glass of water every time you clean your teeth. When you get to your work desk, whether that's in an office, whether it's home, no matter where that is, when you get to work and you get to your desk, the first thing you do is you have a glass of water. Every time you go to cook a meal, every time you go to prepare a meal, you have a glass of water, okay? These are habits that already exist, so just tie something else into them. If you do this, you find yourself, you've had a glass or a litre when you've woken up, when you clean your teeth in the morning, when you clean your teeth at night, when you prepare your breakfast, when you prepare your lunch, when you prepare your dinner. Just that alone will get you to a significant proportion of that 3 to 4 litres a day. If you throw in there as well a couple of cups of herbal tea, you'll find that you are easily surpassing that 4 litres a day every single day. It's so much easier when you tie it to those habits, because like we're saying in video 1, even if you only do it half the time or 2/3 of the time, you're still going to be so much further along than you are right now. Now, if 4 litres a day is really, really sounding like a lot to you right now, if you're feeling like that would leave you feeling bloated and you're just not able to do it, just start slow. Remember, everything that I teach at Live Energized is about starting slow, taking it day by day. So tomorrow or today, just try to have 2 extra glasses today between, I don't know what time of the day it is you're watching this and how long you've got till bed, but just try to get an extra 2 glasses in today. Tomorrow, aim for 2 litres. Stick with that for a couple of days. Then at the beginning of next week, try to push that to 2.5 or 3 litres. Stick with that for a week. Just take your time, build up slowly over time, and you'll find that that bloating doesn't happen. The need to pee frequently goes away really quickly, and you'll find yourself feeling so good, you'll want to carry on doing this and never stop and stick to that 4 litres every single day. So with quantity being covered, let's touch on quality to a degree, because like I said, there's a full definitive guide below this video that you can download and get through, but I just want to touch on some of the most important ways that you can improve the quality of your water. So the first thing to talk about when we're talking about quality of water is filtration. That is so important. So we're going to talk about some methods of making the water more alkaline in a moment, which of course on Live Energized, the water would be alkaline. But first I just want to touch on filtration very quickly, because it is so important that you filter your tap water. And bottled water isn't really the real deal, so I'll get onto that in a moment. But first, filtration, because tap water contains so much crap. Always contains chlorine. If it didn't contain chlorine, it contains so much bacteria that you wouldn't be able to drink it. It always contains chlorine. The second thing is that it contains chloramines, which are a cousin of chlorine, but just as bad, if not worse. There's so many pesticides, there's so many toxins. In so many parts of the world, there's fluoride, a known neuron disruptor, a known endocrine disruptor, a known brain toxin. Fluoride is in so much of our water. The chlorine itself isn't always a big problem, but when chlorine mixes with dirt and organic matter in your pipes and in the sewerage system. It creates what's known as disinfection byproducts, of which there are hundreds, and they've all been proven to be damaging to human health. Now, there are so many toxins that the water boards are not required to measure and regulate. The Environmental Working Group, which is a fantastic organisation, released a very, very serious report on this a couple of years ago, and that as well is below this video. I really recommend you check that out. It will show you just how much there is an importance to filter our tap water. Now, bottled water, on the other hand, a lot of people see as the solution, and not only is it a huge expense and a huge environmental expense, but bottled water in a lot of cases is actually got less stringent testing than tap water. That's true. Bottled water in a lot of cases has got less stringent testing than tap water. When you add to that, if the bottled water has been filtered thoroughly, it's been filtered thoroughly with reverse osmosis. It's probably the only commercially sized filtration method there is out there to be able to get that volume of water to do a bottled water company. Reverse osmosis will leave your water oxidizing, which means it's the opposite of an antioxidant, which means it kills your cells, it helps form free radicals, it causes a lot of oxidative stress in the body, which we talked about those green foods yesterday and how they deal with oxidative stress. Bottled water adds to it. It's also stored in plastic. A lot of those plastics aren't friendly for your body. They're not BPA free. And even if they are, there is still the element that your water has been stored for a minimum 6 months, up to a year or two, in plastic, in heat, in a warehouse, in environments where that plastic can reach temperatures where that water is not going to be particularly healthy anymore. Bottled water, on all of the testing I've done, I've tested hundreds of brands of bottled water and they all come out acidic. I don't care what they say on the label. What they say on the label is basically the water at source. So if it's a spring water, they often show a pH of slightly above alkaline, slightly above neutral. But when it's actually been bottled for that long, stored in plastic, filtered in those ways, and then kept in a warehouse on a shelf for up to a year, maybe 2 years before you drink it, I assure you all of those bottled water brands are acid forming. So tap water has to be filtered, absolutely. It's not good enough if it's not been filtered. Bottled water can sometimes have more toxins than tap water. Either way has got the acidic pH and the oxidizing ORP, which means it's got a positive ORP, which means it's that stressor to your cells and to your body. So tap water and bottled water, they're not the best. So filtration is the first thing. You've got to filter your water. You've got to get some method of filtration. There's millions of different ways out there. I don't recommend reverse osmosis for those very reasons. I don't recommend distilled for the same reasons. It creates an acidic pH water, usually around 4 or 5. And it's got that positive ORP. ORP stands for oxidation reduction potential, which basically means that's a measure of whether something's an antioxidant or an oxidant. And if it's got a positive ORP, it means it's an oxidant. It means it's killing cells in your body. It means it's forming free radicals and causing that oxidative stress. So distilled and reverse osmosis really are out as far as filtration is concerned. There's jug filters, countertop filters, under sink filters. There's loads of filters, and I'll leave it to you to do your research on filtration. I've obviously got a preference for the Chanton brand, but I'm going to leave it as a neutral thing for you to go and do your research on that. So, presuming your water is filtered in some way, let's move on to the ways that you can make alkaline water. And the first of which that everybody talks about is lemon water. Now, lemon water is basically you just squeezing like a third of a lemon into 500 mils of water. Apologies, I don't know all of these measurements in fluid ounces, but I'm sure you can Google it. But squeezing about a third of a lemon is pretty rough. Squeezing some lemon in some water. You usually have it 2/3 cool water and then top it up just a little bit with boiled water. That's just to make the water lukewarm. It's just much easier for your body to digest and work with that water if it's not really cold or really hot. Normally we have lemon water first thing in the morning because it just tastes good, gets our metabolism going, gets our body functioning, gets everything moving, and it's a nice thing to have first thing in the morning when you've just woken up. You can drink lemon water throughout the day, that's totally optional, but lemon water for me, it is making the water more alkaline forming, but it's not enough to really call it alkaline water. It's not. If you drank lemon water throughout the day, that's not going to have a huge impact on your body in a kind of alkaline way, in the same way, say, eating green foods or drinking ionised water would. It's kind of neutral. It's certainly not acid forming. And just to cover that off, lemon is a citric acid in its natural state, but because of the mineral content, the low sugar content, everything else, it actually has an alkaline forming effect on the body. So lemon water is the first one. That's how you make it. Just a glass of water, squeeze some fresh lemon in, make sure that water's lukewarm, drink it, delicious, and you can be off. Below this video, I'll give you my guide to making lemon water and my guide to making what I've called lemon water 2.0, which is lemon water but made into a anti-inflammation, antibacterial wonder drink. So check those two out as well. The second method, of course, is using pH drops. pH drops are an excellent way of making your water more alkaline. They'll take your tap water or neutral water of around 7 up to about a pH of 8. They're basically just a small bottle of really super highly concentrated alkaline minerals that you just drop a few drops into the water, give it a stir, and you're away. So they obviously don't filter the water and they don't provide any of the ORP antioxidant benefit that an ionizer would, but they do give your pH of your water a little bit of a bump. They're a really good thing to have on the go when you're traveling, when you're first starting out. They've got obviously an inexpensive way to get started. They'd be maybe £30 or $50 for about a month's supply. And there's some links below to some really good pH drop products that you can go and have a look at and check out by yourself. So they tick the box of making the water slightly more alkaline, but they don't filter, they don't give the ORP benefit. And pH 8 is good, but it's not perfect. The perfect pH that you want to be aiming for is about 9.5. The next option is the jugs, which do offer some sort of rudimentary basic kind of filtration. They're similar to, I guess, to a Brita filter, so they'll take some of the stuff out, but they are not a complete filtration solution. They'll probably be able to address some of the chlorine, some of the bacteria, and some of the other sediments and stuff, but it's certainly not complete. It's a really good start, but it's not a complete solution. And then they run the water over ceramic mineral balls, which helps to increase the pH slightly as well. Not as much as pH drops, but it does help. So they are slightly good, slightly better on the filtration side, not quite as good on the pH side as pH drops, but again, a really good start. And you can expect to be spending anywhere between 50 to 70 pounds, so that would be $80 to $100 to get one of those jugs. The next one that I'd address is alkaline minerals. So things like, people always say, can I just put sodium bicarbonate in the water? The answer to that is you can put sodium bicarbonate in the water, but that's not really what you're aiming for here. That's not going to be your way of making alkaline water. That's going to be a way of making water that can act as a supplement, but it's not going to make alkaline water. To get a pH 8 or a pH 9 in that water, you would have to be using so much of that mineral in every single glass that you drink that I would not consider that to be a sensible, safe option to be making it alkaline water. There's outrageously good supplements, mineral supplements out there like pH Miracle's 4 salts, which is sodium, magnesium, potassium and calcium in a bicarbonate form. So it's really good at helping to alkalize your system. It's a really good supplement, and you have it in water, but it's not, you'd get through a tub in like 3 days, and that really isn't a sensible move. It's not a way to make alkaline water. It's a really good supplement, and it should be treated as a supplement. So then there's the reverse osmosis and the distillers, which we've already touched on. They are included often in these discussions on ways to make alkaline water, but like I said, that's absolutely confusing to people because they don't make alkaline water. They filter water, but they make very acidic, very oxidizing water, which is totally the opposite of what you want to be aiming for. So the final way to discuss this, and remembering there's those 3 things we're trying to touch on: filtration, the ORP to be negative, so to be an antioxidant to your body, and the pH. And all 3 of those are hit when you use an ionizer. Now, I talk about ionizers a lot because they're just such a fantastic way to filter and alkalize your water, because they give you water that is really well filtered, is taken out the chlorine, it's taken out the bacteria, it's taken out all those nasty things. They give you water that's got a really negative ORP, so it's really antioxidant rich with every glass you drink, and it's got a pH at pH 9.5, which is perfect for what you want to be doing. There's a whole heap of other benefits as well, like you can make strong acidic water that you can use as an antibacterial agent in your whole house to get rid of all the chemicals and all the cleaning products that are in your house. You can use it really strong alkaline water that's way stronger than what you drink, but you can use that to wash pesticides and all the crap off your vegetables and fruits to make it as close to organic as you could possibly get. There's so much of a benefit to using an ionizer, and again, all of these methods are listed in the guide below, so I don't want to go into too much of them now, but that's just a quick run through of those 7 ways that you can make alkaline water. but the most important thing is filtration with all of it and getting started. I really just want to impress on you right now that you need to get started. So today, if you do nothing else today, I want you to have 2 extra big glasses of water on top of what you're already going to drink to start getting that hydration habit up. I want you to make your plan for next week. What are you going to do to progress from wherever you are now to getting to those 4 litres a day as a habit every single day? Because remember, even a tiny drop in your hydration levels leads to a massive drop in your energy levels. Because if you really want to get those great energy levels, that energy that lasts all day, feels natural, feels sustained, feel vibrant, get that mental clarity, have fantastic skin, get rid of any niggling ailments and start to boost your immune system and boost your alkalinity and make your body feel amazing. Hydration is so easy and it creates such an impact on your body. I really want you to get started on that. I really want to impress that on you today, and I really want you to read those guides below this video that will really help you to get started. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about another topic that's very close to my heart, something that people miss all of the time. When I get those emails and I go through people's situations, this is one that they miss all the time, and it's probably even easier than today's to implement, even easier than day one's to implement, and it will make a huge impact. So I can't wait to see you on the next video tomorrow on day 3, but for now, keep on going green, keep on getting hydrated. Let's get this thing rolling and let's get you to your best ever health and energy. I can't wait to see you on tomorrow's video. So until then, have a fantastic day.